Let's bring in Xolani Hlongwane, who's a patient service coordinator at DKMS Africa, who joins us for more insight. A very good evening to you, Xolani. Thank you for your time. With none of his family members being a match, an urgent call for a donor has been made to save a life. Talk to us a little bit about this call for help.
Hi, Mpo. I think it's very important for us to be able to understand that there is a serious need for us as DKMS Africa to be able to recruit blood stem cell donors from all ethnic groups. And I think more especially now that we've got Zipho Msane as one of our patients, that we speak to many more African people out there to be able to say to them that we are heeding out the call for all of them, for those who are able to, obviously, to become blood stem cell donors, to register as blood stem cell donors so that we can be able to help many more patients like Zipho and many more others who will come and who will be diagnosed today, tomorrow, the next day, who are going to be in search of a stem cell transplant.
What we did hear from your colleague who was interviewed by one of the SABC News reporters is that there is a great deal of stigma associated with being a donor, more so if you're black. Talk to us about some of the reasons behind that and what perceptions are making rounds that perhaps need to be dismissed.
Paul, I think a lot of people, and I think especially in the African communities, donation, blood donation, stem cell donation is something that is not known. So I think one of the many things that we do as DKMS Africa is to educate the public about the fact that there is an important need for people to register as stem cell donors. I think within the African community, when people think of blood donation, when people think of stem cell donation, it's something that we don't really perhaps believe in because of ancestral beliefs. And I think we don't believe in it because we just don't know. And I think it's one of the most important things to be able to have such platforms like part of the SABC News, where we are able to educate people that blood stem cell donation is not anything that will deter anybody from meeting their ancestors tomorrow if they do pass, but it is something that is there that helps patients who are diagnosed with blood cancer or any other blood disorders in search or in need of a stem cell transplant.
So in reading up on some of the risk factors, one learns that with this type of leukemia, risk increases with age and that it's more common in adults who are age 65 and older. What could be some of the contributing factors for a one-year-old toddler to land up in such a heart-wrenching situation?
Well, Paul, we are seeing at the current moment that more than 1,000 children are diagnosed with leukemia, and it's not just a disease that only engulfs adults. We are seeing a growth in terms of numbers of toddlers, young people, teenagers who are diagnosed with blood cancer and blood disorders. And I think it needs our serious attention. It needs the communities, it needs society to be able to understand that when you're diagnosed with blood cancer or blood disorder, it's not that you have been bewitched. It's not that people or your ancestors have turned against you. It just simply means that your blood is not doing the functions that it's meant to be doing, and therefore it needs medical attention. Therefore, for those who are at a chance where a stem cell transplantation is then the next method of healing, that then we make available the donors who come through to then say they're willing to be part of the fight and they're willing to help patients who are diagnosed with blood cancer and blood disorders in search or in need of a stem cell transplant.
Is it by chance or are there some preventative measures?
Please say that again, Paul.
Is it by chance, I mean, this type of cancer, or are there some preventative measures that one can note in terms of improving health or just taking a much more advanced approach in caring for yourself?
I don't think this disease is by chance, Paul. I think when the blood cells do not do the functions that they are supposed to be doing, or when blood cancer then engulfs, or the bad cells then take over the good cells in anybody's body, it's not by chance. I think it is a condition that one cannot say if you eat healthy, you are prevented from having. These particular conditions happen, and they can happen to anybody at any time. I think we as the community need to then start saying to ourselves that blood cancer and blood disorders are here to stay. And how do we then make sure that people who are diagnosed are able to be treated and are able to find the right help that they need?
Yeah.
I don't think that if we say these things happen by chance that we are helping the cause. I think we need to understand that as a community and a society, these blood cancer and blood disorders are going to be a thing that we are going to have to live with.
Yeah.
Now, as communities, how do we say we live with them? We don't say that they will be wiped off the face of the earth, but we say that we encourage people to become blood stem cell donors so that we will be able to assist patients who are diagnosed with blood cancer and blood disorders so that they can also have a second chance at life and be able to live normal lives like everybody else.
What processes does one have to go through if they want to become a stem cell donor? I mean, are there any prerequisites?
Paul, the prerequisites for anybody to become a blood stem cell donor is that one needs to be between the ages of 17 to 55. They need to be leading a healthy lifestyle with no chronic illnesses, and they need to be willing to help any patient in need. And those who are at home, to all the viewers who have an interest and believe that they meet the criteria of becoming a blood stem cell donor, they then need to just go onto the DKMS Africa website, and they'll be able to register on an online platform. And DKMS will then send through a swab kit, which is a mouth-cheek swab, where potential donors are able to complete where the potential donors are able to then do a cheek swab 1 minute on each cheek, and then they'll be able to then package that package, and then it will be couriered back to DKMS, and we'll then be able to send it through to our laboratory where we do HLA typing, and then the potential donor will then be deemed as a stem cell donor once the results have come back. And
very lastly, Xolani, before we let you go, are there any side effects for potential donors, for donors?
Well, Paul, we have not witnessed any side effects for the donors per se. I think that when the donors undergo through the harvesting of stem cell donation, which I think as DKMS we are so proud to say that we've been able to globally do over 100,000 stem cell transplantation without any problems of our donors. And our donors are well looked after in the sense that we do have medical officers and the medical team at the DKMS Africa that then stays with the donor and keeps in touch with the donor to make sure that the health of the donor is of high standard, and that's what we pride ourselves of as DKMS, with the fact that we don't only look after the patients but also the donors who come through onto our registry. They're also well looked after.
Yeah. Very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on this discussion. Xolani Hlongwane, who's a patient service coordinator at DKMS Africa, joining us for an expansion as the family of a brave 1-year-old boy from Durban who's facing this aggressive blood cancer is now pleading for donors to save his life.